Hello, I'm Charlotte. Welcome back to another video in my series, Who is Jesus? We're going to continue reading from the Bible to know more about who Jesus is, what he said and did, and why we can believe in him. So I hope that you have a Bible with you, and if you don't, you can go to the internet and just look for Matthew chapter 8, and King James Version is what I'm using. You can also open an app on your phone. So I'm just kind of going to recap a little bit of what I said in my last video. And we've been spending time getting familiar with Jesus' teachings about the kingdom of heaven. And what is significant here is that these teachings prepare the people for what Jesus would do over the next approximately 3 years. And it was important for him to lay a foundation to build on. And what we now know in our day is that faith comes by hearing. Hearing what Jesus had to say created faith in the people who were listening to what he had to say. And most of us have probably grown up with the motto, I'll believe it when I see it. And for the people of Jesus' day, it was really no different. From another book in the Bible, we can read that it is stated in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 22, for Jews require a sign. They were also going to want to see something before they believe it. And so Jesus is really turning that philosophy upside down. He's making sure that people hear and believe what he says before he does anything that will demonstrate his power and authority. He, of course, had the power and authority to perform miracles and signs, but that is not what he started out from. He started out from what is the teaching about the kingdom of heaven first. So he, as the Son of God, of course, can demonstrate the power and authority of God. But let's begin by going to chapter 8 of Matthew, and we're going to look at verses 1 to 4. And I'll go ahead and read that for us. When he was come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him. And behold, there came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. And Jesus put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And Jesus saith unto him, See thou tell no man, but go thy way, show thyself to the priest, and offer the gift that Moses commanded for a testimony unto them. So this will be standard of the works of Jesus for the next few years, healing the sick. So Jesus shows us here that it is the will of God to heal, and that he has the power to do the healing. He wasn't afraid to touch this leper. Now, lepers were sent out from their villages and towns. They could not even live near anybody else. They had to be in isolation so that they couldn't infect people with this deteriorating skin disease. But Jesus touched this man. He had no fear of touching the man, in spite of knowing that this was a contagious, deteriorating skin disease. So when Jesus says that this man who was now healed should go to the priest with an offering, Jesus is referring to Leviticus 14. Now, Leviticus 14 is near the beginning of the Bible. So this was many hundreds of years before Jesus lived. And the law was given by God to his prophet Moses, and Moses communicated this law to the people of Israel. So in Leviticus 14, Moses has been given the law to pass on from God to his people. And we will see that it was possible for people to be healed even before Jesus came to earth. So if it happened, then God had also prescribed an offering and a sacrifice for that person to perform. Now, in this law, we can also learn that there is a way to deal with sin in the person's life. And we're going to look at that in more detail later. After healing the man with leprosy, a centurion from the Roman army asks Jesus to heal his servant of the palsy. Now, palsy, I looked up, and the word palsy is a medical term which refers to various types of paralysis, often accompanied by weakness and the loss of feeling and uncontrolled body movements, such as shaking. So let's read about what happened here in Matthew 8, 5 through 13. And when Jesus was entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion, beseeching him, and saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. And Jesus saith unto him, I will come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this man, Go, and he goeth, and to another, Come, and he cometh, and to my servant, Do this, and he doeth it. When Jesus heard it, he marveled, and said to them that followed, Verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. And I say unto you, that many shall come from the east and west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And Jesus said unto the centurion, Go thy way, and as thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. And his servant was healed in the selfsame hour. Now, the centurion here is showing great faith. He believes what Jesus said, and he knows without a doubt that the expected result will take place. He acknowledges the authority of Jesus, and he submits himself to that authority with no arguments or complaints. He simply believes and expects that what he has asked for will be done for him. And Jesus is impressed with this man. He already knows that the children of Israel, the Jews, are having a hard time getting to know the true nature of God. And here's a foreigner who has no background in the law or heritage of the Jews, and he is able to grasp what Jesus was about. So faith in God and in his word is what pleases Jesus, not adhering to laws and doctrines. So now Jesus is going into the home of one of the disciples, and we're going to read here in verses 14 and 15 what happens. And when Jesus was come into Peter's house, he saw Peter's wife's mother laid and sick of a fever. And he touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she arose and ministered unto them. So I imagine that she had prepared a meal for them and was expecting them to come and would be able to serve this meal to them. And verse 15 confirms what I had imagined was happening. So Jesus doesn't appear to be asked to do anything. It just says that he saw Peter's mother-in-law and went straight to her to touch her so that the fever would leave her body. This shows me, and I hope it shows you, the compassion of God the Father. Jesus was moved by compassion. He was never moved by a sense of obligation or guilt or pressure. His compassion was his love in action. And compassion is something that reaches out, gets close to, comes into the suffering and brings healing, peace, hope, and restoration. That is what Jesus was about, because he had the same heart of love for the people that his Father God has. And he has that same love for you. We'll continue in the next video learning more about who Jesus is.